Hey everybody, welcome to another GMG review. I'm here checking out WARCRY's Nightmare Quest and the new book Might and Madness, which is 2 new warbands for Warhammer Age of Sigmar, which was kindly sent as a complimentary review copy by Games Workshop. So what is in this book? Well, we're in the standard format now. This looks like the last of this season's releases. And this is going to pit some Stormcast Eternals, a questing knight group, which is pretty cool. Brand new frame of 6 models against the forces of the Ghouls. They're kind of like diluted knights, and it's called the Royal Beastflayers. They are a pack of sort of like, I guess like the huntsman and his men. There's some ghouls that think there's dogs. There's some ghouls that think they're ghouls, and there's ghouls that think they're the head honcho gleaming knight. And this throws down once again in the Gnarlwood, as that is our current ghoulish setting for this season. Very cool art. Again, we don't get a lot of new terrain in this one. This has the original box set, Rotten Ruins terrain set, plus the Seraphon's like free terrain piece, the World Shaper Engine, I think is what it's called. Added in. So what's nice about this is if you're playing Seraphon, you're getting a free World Shaper engine, and you have some fairly easy to build, quick and ready to go terrain. If you want to play this box set, you can really just paint that piece of terrain and be ready to rock and roll along with your 2 new warbands. So the God King has basically tasked these guys to go explore the woods. Lovely new miniatures. They can be built a bunch of different ways. You get a Knight Relictor, you get a Questor Prime, and then a bunch of errant Questors that can be armed a bunch of different ways with Grand Spears, Grand Blades, Twin Blades, and Grand Hammers. These are like, they're basically the elite versions of the Knight Questor from Silver Tower. So like they've got their big heavy weapons and they're kitted out a bunch of different ways. They're going into Quest in the Gnarlwood, figure out what's wrong, and of course try and stop Talaxis from getting broken open. Nobody wants Chaos to have a spaceship, which would be bad. On the other side, the Royal Beastflayers, you get the Royal Flamemaster, this wonderful sort of like, you know, degenerate knight. I like that his armor is made out of human bones stitched to him, so his knee pads are basically a pair of hands. And he's got a whole bunch of other sort of like knightly bits too. He's wearing some basic armor, he's carrying a halberd. And then his cloak, of course, is made from probably people, because those look like very human hands there on the back. Then you get the Gore Squires, all in, again, they're sort of like bone armor made from orcs and humans. The Beastflayer Baron, who is the Flamemaster sort of like sidekick, and then the Ghoul Trackers, which is just basic ghouls. A lot smaller than the current ghouls. I would actually love to see the new ghouls for Age of Sigmar take on that size, because they look just a lot more fun to build and paint. And then the Awful Hounds, which are, again, like they're ghouls that think they're dogs. Like, they literally have the bat noses and everything. And are some sort of like larger hit pieces in the warband. All right, so the Forest Fury, let's check out these warbands. What do we get in here? We get the faction rules, we get the Gnarlwood terrain rules for the cool Realm Shaper engine. That's what it is, not World Shaper. Get some new quests, so 2 separate sets of battle plans for doing the 2 forces against each other. Again, I wish these books had universal quests in them. They keep doing like quests between the 2 specific warbands. I understand, but then the second set is always a multiplayer quest. I wish it was just anybody can do a universal quest. One of the things I think this could take from Underworlds is the ability to include stuff that adds new rules for everybody, as opposed to just the rules for the warbands that come in the box. And then, of course, our actual abilities. So the Stormcast Questor Soulsworn faction. These guys are spendy. You're probably getting 6 models. I mean, you get 6 models in the box. You're probably getting 6 models in the warband. There's 7 profiles. There are 3 separate leaders. So you get your Questor Prime for 170 here. He's got, oh, sorry, not 7, 3 separate leaders. There's 7 leaders. They're all leaders, and they can all do leader actions, which I think is hilarious, because they're a group of heroes. They're all the Knight Questor from Silver Tower. And that means that they all have access to leader action, and they can all do leader actions from the core rulebook as well, which means they can chain activations and have a whole bunch of activation control. They have a special call out here. There is no limit to the number of fighters with the Soulstorm and Hero rune marks that can be included in your warband roster. The first such fighter added to your roster is, though, the leader. So one of these guys is picked to be your leader on paper, but everybody else has the leader rune mark and can do those hero rune marks. And then you get your reaction, which everyone can do, Swift Retribution. This is the faction reaction. A fighter can make this reaction when they're targeted by a melee attack action after the damage is totaled, but before it's allocated. If it's not for the fighter to be taken down, pick another friendly fighter. The fighter makes a bonus move or a bonus attack. So if you're about to lose somebody before that damage gets allocated, somebody else steps in and blasts somebody, which is cool. The sort of like retribution-y aspect means you can't gang up on these guys quickly and not get hit back. Then your basic double is Thundering Strike. Pick another friendly fighter within 6, and they make a bonus move action. It kind of offsets the fact you have a 4-inch move faction, like they're slow inherently. You can spend your doubles to get additional movement. And it's on people who haven't necessarily activated yet, too, so you can like drag models forward into charge range or into shooting range. Your other doubles are Force of a Thunderbolt, which is available to the Grand Hammers, so the Grand Hammer Questor. I think that's it. No, the Grand Axe as well, because they're the big hitters, and the Grand Blade. So all the 3 heavy weapons. This fighter can only use this ability after they finish a move action within an inch of 2 or more enemy fighters. They make a bonus attack action. So when you dive into a unit, you do like a big sweeping blow with a double. Then you won't even slow me down. A fighter can use this ability if an enemy fighter is taken down by an attack action made by them this activation. They can make a bonus move or a bonus attack. So as soon as you kill somebody, you get to double down and be like, bah, pathetic. And then you either make another move or make another attack for free for a double. And then you're into triples. Searing Light, just allocate 3 damage points to all visible fighters within 3 of this fighter. Of course, that's Lantern Man, which is, the Questor Prime. And then finally, Face Me, You Cowards, which is available to all leaders. Literally everybody can do this one, I'm pretty sure. Oh no, sorry. It's the Duelist key mark. That's the different one. They look almost identical. Face Me, Cowards. Enemy fighters that begin their activation within 3 of this fighter can't disengage or end move actions further away, because she just calls them out with her twin blades. And then finally, Translocation. That's for your Knight Relictor. It's the kind of like the poor man's version of the Translocation prayer in the Stormcast army book. Pick a friendly fighter within 3 of this fighter. This is a quad. Remove this fighter from the battlefield, then immediately send them up anywhere in the battlefield, more than 4 from enemy fighters. You can just teleport somebody, which is pretty neat. And it could be anybody. They can be unactivated, so you can just put somebody next to somebody. Core stat-wise, these guys are all the same. 4-inch move, 5 toughness, 20 wounds each. So you're going to have 120 wounds in the table, basically. Toughness 5 across the board is a lot. And then your Questor Prime, he's got access to, like I said, the Searing Light allocation. He's got 2-inch range, 4 attacks, strength 4, 2-4 damage. Their damage isn't that high, but base 2 damage across the board is pretty good. And then your Knight Relictor, 3-5 or 3-4. He's got a ranged attack at 8 inches with 2 attacks at strength 4, or his melee attack is 1-inch range, 3 attacks at strength 4. They're 3-4 and 3-5. And the big weapons are all kind of the same. Some of the base damage is higher, some of the crit damage is higher. So base higher damage is the Grand Hammer, which is 3 attack, strength 6, 3-4. The Grand Blade is 4 attack, strength 5, 2-4. And the Grand Spear is 3 attacks at strength 5, 2-5. And the Grand Axe is 3 attacks at strength 5, 2-5. But they have the Sweeping Blows abilities on top of that. And then the Twin Blades, 5 attacks at strength 4, 2-3 damage. So she's looking for lots of little hits instead. And that's it. So it's cool. It's like a group of heroes, basically, which I think is a neat ability for a warband and fits thematically the idea that they're Questors. They're the dude that gets lost in Silver Tower and then is like on a specific mission handed down by Sigmar. Then we got our Royal Beastflayers faction rules. So they get their reaction. Tenacious Hunters. After a visible enemy fighter within an inch of this fighter makes a disengage action, allocate D3 damage points to them because they cut you on your way out. So you run away from them, they do damage. Then your doubles, Feed the Hounds is the universal one. A fighter can only use this ability if an enemy fighter was taken down by an attack action made this activation. Remove a number of damage points from each other friendly fighter within 3 of this fighter up to the value of this ability. Basically, you eat the dead because you're cannibals, because you're weird cannibals. Then double Sound the Hunt. Pick a number of visible friendly fighters equal to half the value of this ability, rounding up, that are within 3 of this fighter. Those fighters can each make a bonus move action, a number of inches equal to the value of this ability. That's pretty cool. So that's available to your Baron. He basically can like yell for everybody else to charge. And then half of the unit, like, so if you get a double 6, 3 models can move 6 inches. That's a big pull of movement for a single double. Which means if you roll a 6 in your pile of dice, you're probably going to want to use one of your wild dice to make a 6, do that every turn. Then double Clambering Horrors until this fighter's activation. Do not count the vertical distance move when they're fighting. So basically, or climbing, sorry. So basically, you don't quite fly, but you can ignore your climbs when you're making your moves. And then triple Unleash the Hounds until the end of the battle round. Add half the value of this ability, rounding up to the move characteristic of friendly fighters with the Royal Beastflayers rune mark while they make a move action that starts within 3 of this fighter. So that's available to your leader. Or sorry, not your Ghoul Squires, because they basically order the other models to go and fight, which is cool. It gives them something to do with their triples, and it means you can have multiple. You have 3 of them potentially, because you're probably going to get all 10 models into this, because you're looking at 290, and there's 3 of these guys at 95, which is 270, 285. So 290 plus 295 is 5. 290 plus 295 is 585. And then 3 of these guys is 165, so 6, 740, and then 2 of them is 260. It's exactly 1,000. Perfect. So yeah, exactly 1,000, you get all the models, which means you'll be able to have all 3 of them. And then triple from the leader is Pack Fighter. His Pack Fighter ability is pick an enemy fighter visible to this fighter. Allocate a number of damage points to that fighter equal to twice the number of friendly fighters within 3 of the enemy. So if you just run people on top of people and then unleash that triple, you're going to get twice the number of models. There's like 6. You've got 4, then you get 8. If you have 5 models in, within 3 of that guy, you're going to get 10 damage on a fighter. You'll just run over like a basic 10 wound fighter in any other warband, which is neat for a triple. Then you got quad, no rest until our quest is done. This is again the Royal Flame Master's ability. Until the end of the battle round, add 2 to the strength characteristic of melee attacks made by friendly visible fighters while they are within 6 of this fighter. That's a huge ability. That makes your basic ghouls strength 5. It makes the Opalhound strength 6, the Squires are strength 5, and the Beastflayer and the Flame Master are both strength 6. That's a huge quad. Then your additional terrain, your rib cages are all deadly, and then the Realm Shaper engine with its little stuff hanging off it. It has a triple ability, Power Unleashed. Pick a terrain feature visible to the fighter. Allocate D6 damage points to each fighter within 1 of the terrain feature. Allocate D6 damage points to this fighter. If this fighter has the Seraphon or Hunters of Wanchi keyword, allocate D3 damage instead because it won't hurt the Seraphon. If this fighter has the Seraphon or Hunters of Wanchi rune mark and the Priest or Mystic rune mark, don't allocate any damage points to them because the Priests and Mystics don't actually take any damage from it. So it's neat. I like the fact that you can shoot lasers out of it, and it's basically it's one of those Death Star turrets that you would fly by in the Death Star run. And the Narloks are both from the core rulebook, as are the Palisades and the rope bridges and stuff. Then we have a bespoke campaign, so you get your own special quests, like Sigmar's Decreed. You have to go out and do a certain thing, like kill more enemy fighters than friendly fighters or control one or more objectives. You get these, you get your extra quests. And then if special visions, you get to try and you get to pick a vision basically to have, and those visions can acquire your sort of end of quest state. You get a champion ability or a quest or artifact for completing those 2, and then you get the Dawnbringers as your quest battle plan. If you finally complete this quest, you get to go and try and complete that for an additional artifact. And you can build a cool outpost. If you manage to find it, it's 1155 for your points limits. You get an extra 100, an extra guy basically added to your warband if you want. And the Beastflayer quests, kill a beast in its lair. So you have to kill something with the Beast rune mark. Retrieve an heirloom, so try and find a cool artifact. And they give you Relics of the Realm and Knightly Virtues. My favorite one is you get a knightly title if you do retrieve the heirloom. So you become a Knight of the Realm. If this fighter's in your warband, you begin the battle with additional wild dice. Or a Knight of Purity. At the end of the battle round, allocate D3 damage points to each fighter within 3 of this fighter. So you become a Bretonnian Knight, even though you're a degenerate ghoul. And then you of course get your quest and your location, which is a hunting encampment, which you probably see as a cool tower, but it's actually just a pile of bones and dead children. And then you get your special, these are all the special cards that come in the box set, dealt out to specifically do your quest missions. And that's it. You get additional campaign arc. Your battle plan generator cards are printed in here as well if you want to photocopy them and do them that way. And then cool names, you could be Gorga the Humble or Arani High Helm. And then your Royal Beastflayers background is my favorite. Sir Graven the Seeker as a degenerate ghoul name. And then Sir Alderad the Jolly. The name generators might be my favorite part about all this. And then of course you get your background and your leaders backstory and stuff as well. So there it is. I think the last of the season. This is Might and Madness. This is the best pairing of any of these books so far. Rot and Ruin was 2 Chaos Warbands. I didn't super care about it as far as the story, because it's just a weird alchemist being chased by more Chaos guys to try and find more chaosy things in the Gnarlwood. The Hunters of Wanchi one actually was pretty cool because it was the actual defense of Talaxis of the starship against a rival Chaos Warband. So that one actually had a compelling storyline. And the one where it's vampire monks versus Chaos corn dog worshippers, it's not the, it was cool. Like the models were super cool. They felt like they would have fit better in like a more Mordheim-y setting though. They didn't feel particularly beasty. This one's perfect. This one is exactly what I want. You've got both sides of the knightly coin. This guy thinks he's a knight. He's literally wearing entrails as like a jacket. And this guy's actually a knight, but also wearing a human skull for a helmet. So who am I to say that which one's better or less of a degen from Upcountry? So yeah, I like this book a lot. I think they've come a long way in doing these. I'm sure they're all planned at the very beginning, but I would say this one and the Hunters of Huanchi versus the, oh shoot. It was Bulls against Roddy Rotbringers. Hunters of Huanchi was against the Jade Obelisk. That was the second most, because the Jade Obelisk was very like tied to the Gnarlwood and stuff too. Had a very in tall grass Stephen King feel to it. But I think this one's my favorite so far. So I've got the Ghouls and stuff over to Mike. He's gonna paint them up. I'm gonna paint up the terrain and the Stormcast, and we'll run this campaign next after we finish up the Hunters of Huanchi series. I think there's one episode left to go out and stuff. So big thanks to Games Workshop, sending this along to check out. And you guys for watching. We'll see you for more GMG reviews and more WARCRY in the future. Till then, mash. Hey there, I hope you enjoyed that video. There are tons of other games already recorded for you to watch. Click over to my channel page if you haven't already, and have a look through the dozens of playlists full of videos. I guarantee you'll discover a game you haven't seen played before. I put out new videos 7 days a week, and every day is themed to a different genre as I continue to explore the wider world of gaming. Of course, none of that's possible without you, the viewer, so click a like and subscribe if you'd like to stay on top of what's happening here daily. My two kids and I are massively grateful to be able to have the flexibility of this job so I can always maximize my time with them. If you want to support me continuing to put out this content, it's only possible because of my amazing backers on Patreon who support the studio, equipment, and model cost, as well as being how I make the bulk of my living. You can also help out by buying a t-shirt through Spreadshirt, a measuring gauge or widget from Death Ray Designs, or buying one of my games and supplements like Last Days, Gamma Wolves, and Blaster. As a way of showing my appreciation, patrons get early access to new games and supplements that I write throughout the course of the year. Huge thanks for watching, it really does help out, and happy gaming.